go down. Okay. My hair is just wild, and it's gonna be wild, and even more wild. What am I even talking about? Okay, so we're back, and I'm going to try to find a Christian to talk to on TikTok, and just look. I need to preface these. I don't like debating. I just want to explore ideas together. So I need to preface with every single debate I join that I don't know everything. Like I know what I don't know. I remain curious, open-minded, and understanding, to where we can just vulnerably share our brains together and collectively understand what we're doing, so we can align. I'm gonna try to preface it in a way where I can we can like Christianity and other religions that are old. Like I think they should be more of like a stepping stone. Like we can use elements from them, but then step up to create something together. And I think that's pretty much the biggest goal I have right now. Is like that's the thing. Like the missing thing that could help a lot of people. And yeah, so I'm gonna go to TikTok and the fuck. Okay, let's go to, how do I get to lives? Okay, this guy is talking about motorcycles, I guess. Let's debate. Should broke men be allowed to date? What the fuck? Not interested. Do you still support Trump for educational purposes? Where are the Christians at? Where are the Christians at? No. Cause like I need to poop. This is, maybe I should restart this. I don't think I'm gonna find, Jesus is not the Messiah. Christians prove us wrong. Christianity produces foolishness. Monday morning activation.
My job is to is really getting clarification from the air traffic controller.
2 pilots killed. What was that? 2 pilots killed in La Guarana runway collision. That's happening a lot more and more recently. That's an interesting thing too. I'm trying to get this. No, stop. If you ever watch Nathan Fielder, I kind of stole his name. Nathan For You is a TV show, but he does The Rehearsal, and he literally did a series or season. Does this look better? No, it looks like shit. I needed my bangs. Okay, Brady. But he did season 2 of The Rehearsal, talking about the pilot and co-pilot communicating, and because of lack of communication, there is more issues with plane crashes on landing. And this was actually 939. This was actually something that was quite interesting to watch, because he took it to the extreme. But this was a collision with two.
And a variety of other things.
And Greg, just sort of wrapping up for us.
Okay, are we gonna?
Fall off his doctrine.
Okay. Where are the Christians at? I'm trying to do here. Maybe if I do this.
I need you to go in this line and say,
Okay. For them questions.
We're excited, and I'm so honored, and I'm so
Okay. Okay. Good job. You're making music.
But it's extremism. Can we agree?
This is okay. Radical religious extremists who pose an imminent threat.
How do I know they produce?
Back and I looked through the production.
I'm a feminist. I don't hate men. No. Filibural language. Medicare for all.
Their biology.
Okay, I don't know about that. Female. I don't even know how to. Can you even hear me when I talk this way?
click on someone's name.
Phenomania, tell your story. Who are you? How much do you like the International Justice Live? Neutral. I don't know, because I didn't see it. I didn't see much of it. Where are the Christians at? There's this one guy that's just the most toxic Christian. Like, he just, like... I don't know his name, but he just, like... How he is just toxic, and I see him every once in a while on TikTok. I'm like, dude... Like, you're not helping your case here. Like, he just tries to dunk on people in ways that just isn't really a dunk, I'd say. I can't explain it any better, because I have to show you an example. Easy government contracts I've won in the last 6 years. What? Okay, we have this guy. Music, bidder credit, 100 points. Come on, basketball guy. Is he gonna shoot? He shoot, and he. Hey, there you go. Nice job, buddy. Okay, I was a type 2 diabetic for 30 years. Okay.
Shit, bro.
Okay.
Not like that doesn't seem
Where
like
are 5 mistakes people make with their words? Jesus and Paul never existed. Prove us wrong. Well, this one's just not going anywhere. Well, it was like starting to. How do we?
Says, how was your holiday?
So how do you know? Well, like I believe that the guy Jesus existed. Paul, I don't know. But why would I don't see a reason why people would lie. This is where I'm going with Christianity. If I could, maybe I could just talk to you about what I was going to go about with Christianity, because I'm not finding anyone. So look, it's an idea that's out there is how reliable is the Bible, and we see in the Old Testament it's just bad, genocidal God, misogynistic. You can beat your slave. These are all good things apparently. So, and there's more to it. There's just more. It just like I think at this point the Old Testament was written in such a way for people to read to understand the New Testament more. Like you should question the Old Testament, and you should be like, this is fucking stupid. But maybe it's gonna help with the New Testament. I'm working my way through the Bible very slowly. I'm not doing it daily. There's a daily podcast I'm listening to with. I guess I can tell his name. Let's see here. It's Father. Where is it at? Father. I can't even see it. Michael. What the fuck? Oh, TikTok's going back. Get out of TikTok. Okay, so I'm just gonna talk to you guys because I can't find anyone. So it is. What am I doing? I was talking about this father dude. On a podcast I've been listening on Spotify, and I've been making my way through the Old Testament with Genesis first, and then he reads Psalms, which I think Psalms is actually interesting. It's poetically written, and I actually like it. There's some good things about it. I don't know exactly which verses or which passages. I cannot tell you because yeah. Anyways, so I believe with the Old Testament, it was written in such a way where we question it, and that maybe that's the intention behind it, to understand the New Testament better. But I believe I don't subscribe to Christianity. I believe the idea of Jesus is true. It makes sense, and the way I frame it is this way: is what if? Well, before we do what if, projection of belief is a very dangerous and powerful thing. And what I mean by that is if we project our beliefs onto another person, they can take it in different ways. And what do you mean, Brady? Well, this can be used in a negative way, for instance, where if you're like growing up as a kid and like your parents aren't very nice to you, like your belief on yourself is very low, and like low self-esteem, just like not feeling confident about who you are. Hey, this happened to me, and here I am, and I worked my way through it, and I'm talking to people, if anyone's listening, on YouTube right now, so that's great. And but what if we invert this and flip it? And this is where like my mind thinks with ideas, like to get outside of the box, we must invert ideas to get outside of the box, and we're like, how do we even like where do original ideas come from in the first place? And this is where I think my mind is interesting, is where it goes sometimes when I invert thoughts that I have or beliefs. And so let's say Mary, goddamn people, let's say Mary understood the concept of belief being a powerful thing, and there were like things that she noticed in the world that needed to be corrected. Like maybe it was just so bad, and they're like, this life is just crazy, and we need to kind of construct a narrative for people to get on board so we can progress. And I'm assuming, I don't know if this is true or not, guys. I'm just spitballing here. To the point where she lies. She creates a lie saying I have the Son of God in me. But then it could also be one of these things, because like someone, Michael from Vsauce, he claims that the Bible is just the book of consciousness. Like let's say like the people didn't know what inner voices, like internal voices were, so they thought it was God. So potentially maybe she had an idea, and she thought it was God telling her that she was going to be conceived. But then how does the baby get born if a penis doesn't enter the vagina, right? So it's a lie. I'm going to say it's a lie. And she was trying to not trick people, but like manipulate them in a good way to act properly. And so I believe this could be the case, where she so happened to have a boy, and this regular human being popped out of her, and everyone in the community was like, Son of God, Son of God, oh my God. To the point where, like, imagine being born, and you're just a regular human, and you have this immense pressure on you to be something. Like, there's, in the Gospels, to my understanding, there's no early life of Jesus. Like, who was this kid? Who was this teenager? How did he respond to things, right? And having that, like, I wonder, like, this is where I empathize with Jesus sometimes, if this is the case. Like, how would you navigate this in such a way? And what if you, like, you doubt yourself? But, like, if everyone around you is telling you that you're something that you're not, but do you become the something that you are? I would love to try this as like a social experiment, like have a baby, and we all claim it's God, and but how unethical would that be? I don't know, but how can we test this, right? So I imagine once the collective, like, believes in one thing, like, I think there's something more that goes on with the human body, mind, and soul, right? To where, this is gonna sound dumb, but it's like, geez, us? Geez, us? Like, I believe we all have the capabilities of doing more than what we collectively understand together. And some of my stories while I was manic, like, allowed me to jump outside of myself, because I was without fear. I was overconfident, way overconfident, grandiose thoughts. I didn't think I was God. I didn't think I was Jesus, but I was literally just trying my best to understand the feeling. It was very euphoric, but also understand what we're all doing on this earth together. And it's been that drive, and been that, like, I was trying to find the truth when I first started in 2021, just trying to find the truth, and it's something where I think I'm getting closer. It's still, I don't know all the answers, of course, but I'm just throwing this idea out there as something, right? Because in mania, like, if people think you're evil, right? I've been called evil by two people, one of them indirectly, and this person got petrified by me. Like, they were just like, so I don't mean to laugh. I don't feel any certain, like, positive way about it, but it's more of an indicator that I am able to do something that no one taught me. And I can get into these stories. I don't know if I talked about these stories on YouTube yet, but there's something more to us than what we think. And I think when the collective believes in something, then we can get behind that and do good things. That's all I'm saying. Is this story true? I don't know. But it's a way to frame stories that we tell ourselves to be better, I think. And I don't know where else to go with this. I'm just losing words to say. So we can try TikTok again. What are we doing on TikTok, Brady? Home live. Are we gonna find? I'm gonna find anyone.
companies use
What else should I talk about, guys? I don't know. I'm trying to. It's interesting because like I've been talking to myself. I've been talking. Get out of here, Brady. I've been talking to myself more over the past like 4 months. Just externalizing my thoughts, and that's been super helpful. Just to hear them, but like put a frame around it, and put a frame around it, just to understand what they mean and what they are. And it's been regulating my mood and my thought process and my behaviors, right? And it's really fascinating because I had I was feeling low last week and had like negative thoughts, but they were more loud this time because I've been more aware of my thoughts in general. And it makes you wonder where do these thoughts come from in the first place? And if it is God, and these internal thoughts are God, what does that mean? And is it because who told us it was our thoughts, right? How do we know it's our thoughts? And how do we know? I'm just kind of spitballing here, guys, or just unleashing my brain. But how do we know? It's gonna sound strange. So with consciousness, right? There's so much to it that we don't understand with the brain and consciousness, right? To where every moment this is why I try to tell myself that I'm just the observer, and I'm observing my body doing all these different things, and I'm not in control of it. But I have direction to steer it in a certain way, but like I'm subconsciously doing things to my body. Like my heart beats, I'm breathing without thinking about it, but my hands go in places. Like I'm aware of my hands right now because I've looked at them and I was doing something with them before, but I tend to just let my body do what it does, right? We all do this, and what's driving that, right? And I think there's more going on here, to where I've kind of been letting go of control. And this is a way to like reframe my mind to like get back to feeling confident and not anxious or nervous when I talk to people, and just letting my words just go. I think that's a very important thing. So we can just literally feel comfortable talking our words out, and figure out, like, we all have puzzle pieces, right? And missing puzzle pieces in our minds. And I think if the more we do this to people, the more we understand what we're missing for ourselves. But we can look at and hear someone else talk and be like, oh, that makes sense, and then plug it into our minds. Or maybe we go back and we reflect on it, and we're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Or maybe just with what we say, and then we reflect on what we say, and then we're like, oh yeah, I just made my own puzzle piece, right? So it's like it's really fascinating, and I've been really passionate about just figuring this shit out for myself, so I don't harm other people. But unfortunately, when in mania, I harm people in mania. It's been a bad thing, but it's also been a good thing because I've been able to integrate what I've done in mania into my stable life here. Like, I understand what I say in mania, even though other people might not. It sounds confusing. People can be worried. I've definitely strained relationships between friends and family. It's been one of those things where it's unfortunate, but it's been necessary for me to be who I am right now for you. And I find every single thing I've done in my life and the people that have impacted me, both bad and good, like, if it wasn't for them, I would not be who I am today. And I'm thankful for that. Even though I don't wish it upon I don't even have enemies, but if I had an enemy, I wouldn't wish it on an enemy at all. It'd be one of those things where it's just like, no, I'm here today, and I'm glad to be who I am today. I do not wish it upon anyone else, but it's up to me to spread this so we can not have unnecessary suffering in the world anymore. And it's such an ambitious goal, and I'm very optimistic that it will happen sometime. With us being so connected with technology, I think it's just a matter of clicking, and then we're just like, oh, like, where has this been our whole life? Like, it's just gonna be so easy. I believe it's gonna be easy, but like, I'm patient about it because it's not gonna happen anytime in the next year. I can tell you that, but I don't know when it's gonna happen. And but it's gonna be. I have a good feeling that if you're not selfish, if you're open minded, curious, and understanding, and have love in your heart for other people, even if it's just your family or your close friends, if you have love in your heart for anyone, and we all have this, right? Uh, and it's sometimes the people that are corrupted. I think they can still find it, right? And this is why in my story, uh, everyone goes up. Not only half of the people or however many are making it in whatever stories, like I believe we're all capable of doing good, and we should understand each other in such a way where like if we were like atom by atom, someone else, we would do exactly what they would do. We must understand because like people are a product of their environment, right? And how they were raised, how they were grown up, other people that impact them. This is why we should treat people in the best way, right? And we should be what I said, curious, open-minded, and understanding to people, and and we should teach this very young. And I believe kids know this before anything, right? But the parents kind of influence them in such a way where they're not this way, right? Like kids have like such a awe and wonder and beauty about life. It's really interesting. And I wish I wish I was around my nephew more, just to see him not like understand the world. And I think it's really fascinating with kids and because like they're just so pure and after a while they take a shape of their parents. And this is really interesting to think about with me, right? Because like I've been trying to get outside of my dad and my mom to break the generational trauma, right? And I still did something that my dad did, and I still did something that my mom did to people, but being in a manic state, right? And I understand how I caused trouble and trauma for other people. Um, it's not the best. It's not the best thing. But I'm just rambling, and I appreciate you listening. I think I might try to go on TikTok live, but I need to make a video. So what should I make a video about, Brady? Brady. What should we make a video about? We can make a video about this topic, what I just talked about. I don't know. But the sad thing is with TikTok lives, hey, 9:59. Um, the thing with TikTok lives for me, since I deleted my old one, unfortunately, whoops. I used to have 200 followers, and I could probably like get someone to freaking talk to me. I just want to talk about deep things and intellectually talk about what we're doing on this earth. I don't care to debate with people. Like the guy I debated with the last video before this, he was so defensive, and it made me like become defensive, and I think like this is so dumb. Why am I like this? And I reacted to it, and uh, I, I I was trying even during the debate. I was trying to steer it into like just me being vulnerable and like just putting an idea out there. But people just want to be right, and this is where I think we have a part of the illness within us all. Is we must be fearless, saying I don't know at times, saying I don't know. And this is one thing where at the end of the video, I was like there definitely is a God. There has to be a God. And I was even telling this guy yesterday, be careful with knowledge claims because they can lead to dangerous thought, which is solid. But I think I can say there is a God for me without me convincing other people. Like I'm not trying to convince other people, but for me, I think there is a God, and um and I've come to understand why it can lead to dangerous thought, right? It can be delusional. It can lead to like different things that just aren't there. But at this point, being stable, applying meaning to anything can be helpful to navigate the brain, right? So it's almost as if a person is stable, whatever story they tell themselves, that works. and we can this is where we can share our stories together and see how much aligned we are. And this is really interesting because when I was I'm just going off. When I was in a crisis center in Lincoln, Nebraska, for being in mania, I asked a person that worked there what her idea of God was to her, and she shared it in her own beautiful way, right? And I was like, that like aligns so much to like how I view it, and we're like aligned. And then we're just talking and talking about like whatever it was, and it was easy to flirt with her, but still I was like respecting it in such a way. I was respecting it in such a way to, God damn it, Brady. Why do I even go there? I'm just saying, I haven't felt more confident than being in mania, right? And I'm just rambling on something different now, and I was always just so not confident, being like growing up. And there's like spurts and moments where I gain confidence, and sometimes I'd overshoot and just look like a jackass. But I was trying to understand, how do I become confident as a person without that happening, where bad things happen. And in my mind, bad things would happen with me looking like an idiot, or just being awkward, or whatever it might be, right? And I've been able to integrate what I've learned in mania, like not fully, like I'm still learning how to be more fearless, but my ethos is like fearlessly be for others and myself. And if I can do that, I think I can have the confidence that I was like in mania, and fearlessly be, and just be Brady. And it showed up last year. There was a woman in my life that believed in me, and we believed in each other, and we were just, it was so great, where I felt like myself for the first time in the longest time. Like, it took a while to get there, and I had to really like trust myself, just to trust myself. And I haven't felt like this since I was with my sister growing up. Like, it was one of those like connections where, like with my sister, for instance, we grew up and we were really close with each other because we both went through a lot of stuff, and we would be able just to like look at each other. Like, we can just give each other a look, and we'd instantly know like we should we should not, like, I don't know. Well, we can just get each other. We can just get each other. And if we were arguing, like, it would we would know if one of us was wrong, because we would say it, and we'd like I'd say a joke, and then things were over, and like we were hardly mad at each other, and that was such a beautiful like thing. And it has slowly eroded, like the relationship has gone away a bit, because we're not as close anymore, because obviously like she has her own family and we're not living next to each other. But like it was one of those things where with this other woman, where I was able just to be, and I felt so much like myself, and that was such a beautiful thing. And I'm carrying that with me, and I'm keeping her in my mind, because she has become like the positive voice of reason in my mind, for instance, and it's helped me pull out of this negative state and listen to this voice of reason. But like over time, like, and this is me externalizing my thoughts like 4 months ago, or however many, like when I was homeless, and I was able to just literally just talk and talk, but it's like morphed into my voice more, to where like future Brady is talking to present Brady. And then with this idea, we can negotiate together, like what do we want to do, and where is this path leading us, to the point where I'm just giving up. I'm going full circle here, guys. I'm just giving up control over myself, to just trust the process and allow future Brady, because everything is happening before I consciously understand it. Like my, like, how do I explain this in such a way? Like, it's instantaneous, right? But like the future is constantly happening before I'm aware it's happening, right? I don't know if that makes sense. I need to explain it in such a better way. But I'm giving up control over myself well, obviously still being in control, but like giving up control where I'm not like so like I have to be such a way. I'm just trying to like my thoughts right now are just going out, and I'm just rambling for however many minutes. It's been 30 minutes, and here I am still rambling, and I can't believe it. But um and then I'm like doubting myself, like what am I talking about? But I don't doubt myself. It wasn't really a doubt. It was more of a dude, you're rambling, and I was gonna say I appreciate you guys listening, and I was trying to take control over the thoughts that wanted to get out right there, right? And I'm just like, let them out, Brady. Just let your voice go. And this is where it's like such a beautiful thing. And coming full circle with the future Brady and the present is, oh man, oh, I need to go poop. But the whole thing is this, right? Is the present is constantly happening to the point where I can think of the past, right? If I negotiate with my future self, I can also talk with my past self in such a way where I can be like, hey, I'm here today talking to this camera and the people on YouTube, if they're even watching this right now, and I'm able to just be. I appreciate you for getting me to this point in my life. Like, it's okay not to know what mistakes you might have made, and just like just talking to myself and being more kinder to myself. And this is where like words of affirmation never really worked for me, because I went to like mental health, psych words and all these places, and they're trying to be like, hey, say this, or like try to say this about yourself. And I haven't really been able to do that with myself. Like, compliments have been really difficult. Like, if someone gives me a compliment, I tend to just, as way in the past, well, not way in the past, but like in the past, I'll just be like, like, I'm not saying like they're being disingenuous to give me a compliment. It just didn't sit right with me because I couldn't tell myself the same thing, right? And there's a story about I was working on my animation in my junior year of college, and I was constantly in the computer lab, just grinding away at this, and people would notice, and my professor in class complimented me, saying how much hard work I'm putting into this. And I just kind of like deflected. I'm like, well, like other people are putting a lot of work into their films too, right? And one of the students was like, dude, like, just take a compliment. And it just like, I just kind of was like, yeah, you're probably right. You're not probably right. You're right. It's like, why am I like this? And it was really interesting. Mitch, I appreciate you. But Mitchell, right? And it's people that just like point this stuff out, which is really really interesting. It's like, this is what I've been doing in my mind more as I've been, talking to myself, is like fixing and just like fine tuning like these thoughts and trying to get better as I keep doing it, right? And so yeah, compliments were hard, and self affirmations were just difficult. Like, it just didn't work. People didn't explain it in such a way that made sense. But I feel like if I can tell people like the past, future, and present, like maybe they can frame it in such a way where they're like, hey, yeah, I am here today, and yeah, I am thankful for having shelter and food and clothes, and like framing it in such a way where we can be like, yeah, you know what, I am brilliant. And I admitted that to myself in front of my therapist 2 weeks ago. It's been maybe a little over 2 weeks ago, and I felt it. Like, it just made it just like I've been holding off for 27 years to like give myself any sort of compliment, really. I mean, like, I knew I did good things, right? Because I worked on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the Marvels, and I'm proud of that work, of what I did, right? Even though it was kind of a difficult period in my life, I was still able to design shots that were used in the film, and I like, look, that's amazing. But like, even then, I wasn't like fully feeling like proud. I was just like, it's just another thing, right? It's like, and maybe part of that had to do with like how I felt about work in general, because it wasn't that instant gratification. Like, I know people would be entertained by it, right? That's the whole point of the movies, and to be like emotionally like invested into Rocket Raccoon. His story was interesting, right? Um, but I didn't get like the like from my leads and supervisors. I heard really good things from them. Like they appreciated my work and they knew I did a really good job, and that was nice hearing from them. But like, what do you hear from the audience, and what do you hear from other people, and what does that mean? And I wasn't fulfilled really with working on these. Like, I thought my dream of working in the movies would give me some sort of happiness and meaning, and I was just like still searching for it. Like, what am I searching for, right? And I found it today, and but like in the past, right? But like it's every moment just being Brady. And what's that mean? It just means like the ethos, like fearlessly be for others and myself, and just letting my voice go out here for anyone that's listening. And but going back to fulfilling work, it's been more so I got okay. So one of the most important decisions of my life was to become a peer mentor in college. So through my scholarship program, it was the Susan Thompson scholarship. Grateful for that. Like, I didn't have to pay anything for college, really, except for sometime for I had to pay for room, my suite that I had my sophomore year. I think it did. I don't remember, but they paid for like classes, and the meals and very grateful for that scholarship. But with that came a mentor, and as an incoming freshman, we got mentors, and my mentor is still a good friend of mine, and he was actually in the film school too, and it was so nice having him, and instantly like he knew like this Brady is the shit, because I made stuff like 3D art, and instantly like he was like telling me good things about it, like this is so great, and I felt so like happy, and like people were validating me, and I was like, this guy is amazing, thank you. And we would have one-on-ones and group things with the other mentees that he had, and it's such a good way to connect with people, because I was so socially awkward and anxious. Like, I remember a guy on my dorm floor, I stuttered so bad. I was trying to like connect it, but I was stuttering so bad. Oh my god, I can't even recreate it because it was so cringy, and and like I was so afraid to connect with people. Like, I thought I would had something wrong with me, and I just could not. I just could not. And the director of the scholarship program, she is amazing, because she knew my name. Like, we were walking in college, like in one of the buildings, and she saw me. She's like, "Hey, Brady," and I felt so seen. I'm like, "Oh my god, she knows who I am." Out of like hundreds and hundreds of students, and I've never met her, but she knows my name, and she has been fantastic in my life, and I'm just going off about great people, and I'm very very thankful for the great people in my life. But college is really where it turned around for me, and my mentor Eli, he convinced me at the end of the year to try to become a mentor for incoming freshmen next year. I'm like, dude, no, I cannot talk to people. It's so bad. But he's like, look at it this way. Like, they're forced to talk with you. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to make it bad for them, right? But it was definitely the best decision I've ever made in my life, hands down. And I had training to become a mentor. We had a little retreat in the summer, and before, like, it was like a couple weeks before school started, and we were talking about what's the word, resilience, and like how we are here today because of hard times, and we broke up into small groups, and we all talked about stuff in our life that's been difficult, and I kind of opened up to the group, and after we broke up into groups, we all came together as a collective, and we were able to share our stories in front of everyone if we wanted to. And there's one woman that shared her story that reminded me of my mom. And I got up and talked about my life and people that did me wrong and how hard that's been. And I remember being really nervous and scared to do it. Like I was shaking. I was shaking when I heard that lady's story, and I was like, because I knew what I was gonna do, and I'm like shaking. I'm like, it's just it was hard to talk this out in front of people, and I did it. And at the end of it, like I was like bawling my eyes out, like crying, because like the guys like gave me a group hug, and I never felt more connected with a group of people than at that point in my life. And it was just like, because like I never just shared really just deep stuff like that, and stuff that hurt. Like with Eli, I kind of went there, I think, but to really just like let it go in front of like 50 plus people, it was interesting definitely, but just like releasing the tears, it was like just a release, and I was just weeping and just so thankful for all these guys, and everyone there was fantastic. Like the mentors I've been with, like they've like they're all good people, and it's really, yeah, I don't know how else to phrase it, but I became a mentor. And yeah, it was kind of rough at first. I was very awkward at times, and with one-on-one meetings with, like, I think I had 5 or 6 people the first time. It was, I was trying my best, but this is where I became really good at just listening to people, because like I knew I just had to listen and not respond to what they're saying. Like just trust that what they're saying is what they're saying, and then I'll have something to respond to with that after they say it. So I really had to listen, and I really got good at just like nodding and following along with what they're saying, to the point where they felt comfortable and open sharing with me. And like, holy shit, I can do it. Right, I can do it. And I remember with one student in particular, he was very much like me in a lot of ways, like being like awkward and like anxious. But I never saw that in him, really. Like he was just hard on himself, like we all are. And he shared with me how much it's impacted him just having someone to talk to, and how I've helped him out. And I walked out of that meeting, I just with like shivers down my spine. Like it was literally the best feeling I've ever felt, and the best feeling I've ever felt. Well, I remember playing Thunderstruck for the first time on guitar, and I felt like similar feeling, like just like, damn, I'm doing the thing, right? And it was good, and that's like the gratification I think I just need, in a way, where to make things feel fulfilling, like just connecting with people and understanding who they are, and wanting to be open and wanting to be honest, and just like growing from there. Like I don't know the impact I've made on my the students, on my mentees, right? I know with some of them I was helpful. With some of them, there's like one that was more difficult to navigate around. But there's another student. Well, she's amazing. Another mentee I had the next year, and she went through a lot, and this like opened my eyes to like how my life wasn't like, that, right? And like everyone, it's really interesting, because everyone has their own like life, but she was going through so much, and still going through so much, and she was able just to be who she was, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like who you are is amazing. And I would constantly like give her like, she was vulnerable, which was really great, and she opened up pretty quickly the first meeting, and it was just having someone like that to help, I think, was fantastic. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm I'm gonna get a drink of water. But it was a life-changing experience being a peer mentor, because I want to help people like that and make them feel better. And I think that's partly what I'm trying to do on TikTok. Like, I'm not a therapist, but I've been told by some mentees I kind of am, but I'm not a licensed therapist. It would be interesting to go to college to do that, but I don't really foresee that happening, right? I don't want to go back to school to do that if I don't have to, because like they don't really get paid that much either. And I don't know. Well, if it was fulfilling, then Brady isn't that what it's all about? That'd be interesting. That'd be very interesting to be a therapist. I don't know. I feel like it'd be good. But if I could go on TikTok and we can like have deep conversations, like I feel like this would organically happen, and it has happened when I was in Mania, like back in October, on TikTok. I remember I was able to ask people certain questions or like navigate it in such a way where they were able to open up in such a way, and I was able to say words to them to validate what they said. And I'm like, dude, I got goosebumps on my arms. And he's like, no way, me too. And we're like, what? This is so cool. And we were able to connect. And there's bad things that happen in Mania, but there's a good things that happen in Mania too. And with 3 guys, I was able to tell them I love you like a brother, and that was like I meant it, and it was fantastic. And I want to connect with people like that again, and try to find how to cut straight to the point where people will just feel instantly comfortable with just sharing whatever they want. And I think just who I am. I think who I am as a person. I think what I'm gonna say. I'm fucking brilliant. Okay, I think people, and maybe am I arrogant? No. See, this is the thing. Like admitting it online, admitting it to the world is one thing, right? It just feels so off. Why do I feel off about it? Well, it just makes me come across as like a certain way, right? But like I feel like I'm genuine with how I talk, and my motivation behind what I'm doing, I think is clear, and it's to connect with people and to figure out what we're doing on this earth so we can progress as one human species where unnecessary suffering does not exist, and we can work through problems and create technologies that help us thrive and advance and evolve as humans. That is what I'm doing, and I said that in such a way where it makes sense, because it does. And if you're getting shivers right now, I don't know what that means, but like I feel a certain way saying this, and it means something to me. I'm passionate about this, and I ought to try my best to reach out to people. If it's just, it doesn't have to be a lot, but I want it to be the maximum amount of people as possible in my life, right? I've reached an area in my life at 27 years old where I have found something that I think people try to find their whole lives. And I've been socially anxious in the past. I've been hard on myself in the past, and I that's still, I still feel that sometimes, but like I've gotten over it. I've gotten to the point where I've gotten over it, and it's because of the good people in my life that I've ran into. And if it wasn't for them and the bad people, I wouldn't be who I am today. And that's my ramble. I've been going off for, I've been rambling. I checked it for 30 minutes, and I've been rambling for 18 minutes after this. And I'm just like, holy shit. And I just keep talking. I just cannot stop talking, can I? I'm just constantly doing shit. And isn't this great? I wish I had a video of myself where, I wonder if I do, to where I was just like not this way, right? Because you'd see the contrast very, very clearly. And I used to actually, when I was first starting to understand myself in the world better and other people in 2021, I started recording myself more for my future children, which was like an idea that was, I don't know, it was something. But I would literally record it to like help them see like how stupid I am, and there's a long ways to go. And I wish I might have it on a hard drive, but I had like the early videos when I was in Alabama, and I remember traveling to LA, and it was snowing in Oklahoma, and it was like black ice, and I had to find a hotel because I couldn't drive at night anymore, and I just needed to rest. And I ran into a bodyguard, no, a driver that helped with like Miley Cyrus and Guns N' Roses, and like he knew a bunch of like these famous people, and he was like talking to me, and it was like the greatest thing. I remember going back into my hotel room and just like talking about it, and to my future kids or whoever was watching, right? And after a while, I kept doing this, especially in Los Angeles, abusing edibles, and I just was rambling about just nonsense. But like some of it was actually pretty helpful, and to who I am today, and I can get into that. If I remember, it's about no bad thoughts. We can get into that, but no bad thoughts. Um, um, but I soon started to realize like who in the fucking world is gonna watch all these videos, and even with what I'm doing right now. But like this is different because I'm just getting it out there for the bots to comprehend it, and they can make their decision on who I am. And I don't know, is that really what I'm doing? I don't know who's watching this really. I'm just letting myself talk in front of a camera, and if people are watching this, that's great. But if not, that's okay. It's not. It's. I don't know. Anyways, so I stopped doing the whole for my kids thing because like, imagine if I even had kids, and I don't know if I want kids in the first place right now. I don't know if I do or not. It's a lot of responsibility, a lot of money. But anyways, I wondered, these kids are gonna grow up and they're gonna get these videos and they're like, what the fuck are you thinking, Dad? Like, I'm not gonna watch all this. But maybe they would, and I don't know at this point. I just felt off about it, especially being high on edibles and recording videos. Like, it just felt strange, so I deleted most of them. Yeah, I deleted most of my high thoughts. I wrote in a notepad. But there were good things that came about when I was in that state of mind, right? Because it doesn't force, but it kind of helps explore ideas that I wouldn't explore in the first place. And I had the idea of this while being high in Los Angeles. Is I have the impulsive thought to gouge my eyes out right now. What do I do with that? And there's a couple ways we can go about it, right? And we could do it, but why? And it's asking the why. Like, why am I getting this thought in the first place? Why am I thinking about gouging my eyes out? Who's telling me this? And that's another thing, right? But why am I getting this thought in my head? And it's to be like, okay, so what do we do with this thought? We can work our way through it. So it would be unproductive to myself to gouge my eyes out because I want to be able to work. I want to be able to watch movies anymore. I want to be able to, there's lists and reasons. And like my family members and close friends or friends would feel negative emotion about it, and like they would be confused and what are you doing, Brady? And then if I couldn't find my door, maybe I starved to death, and someone has to find my body, and that negatively impacts them too, right? So there's a bunch of reasons I can get into why this would be a bad thing, right? But it helped me understand that there is no such thing as a good or a bad thought. It's just they just are. They happen and they appear in our mind. And this is how I think we reach original ideas. Is we allow our brain to think every single thing possible, and we can be kind of agnostic to these ideas, and we can what we choose to do with the thoughts is what matters, right? And we can ruminate on them. We can be negative about it and keep being negative, and that's an action, that's a choice. Or we can like just let it go, like, hey, that's a thought. Why do we think about that? And then, or we can just let it go, or we can work our way through it, like I did with in the past, or what I did with the gouging my eyes out. And it was really interesting because I was really, when I was taking edibles, I was doing self-medication in a sense. I was trying to scare myself enough to not be scared anymore, if that makes any sense. Like, I remember when I was starting off early on with Delta 8 in Alabama, like I remember hallucinating and seeing like faces come at me, which was one thing, right? I remember being so scared, like there was something in the hall but I got over that feeling pretty quickly. I was like trying to scare myself, and I would just overdo it, like especially in Los Angeles, and like I would take 4 after work, and then a couple hours later take 2 more. Like I was just going through them like crazy, which obviously sparked me becoming manic in the first place, right? So like my brain was just stressed and just taking all this just different chemicals and things, and it was just like constantly just like happening, and it's no wonder I became crazy. But it's interesting because I was able to be crazy, just like crawl back out and be like, hey, this is we I've learned much about being crazy, and it's okay, Brady, right? It's okay. I literally, another story I can just go on about being crazy. My last Manic episode, I went to the concert Lord Huron, and I was like so pumped for it. Literally being in mania, like the height of mania, and like I remember singing in the shower about Lord Huron, and I would get like knocks on my wall, and I'd be like, "Hey, I'm sorry." But anyways, just being loud in my apartment was bad. Um, but I get to the venue, and I'm like walking around, like telling all the guys and people, like, hey, let's like chant Lord Huron when he comes out. Cause like as an artist, like making music for your fans, like the best feeling would be like coming out on stage and hearing your fans chant your name, right? Like the band's name. I think that'd be fantastic. So I was like trying to make it magical for Lord Huron, right? In Kansas City, like let's chant his name. And then like people were just like laughing, like yeah. And I was in the bathroom and like, hey guys, let's chant Lord Huron, and people just laugh, and I was just being ridiculous. But anyways, Lord Huron. Well, Kevin Morbley is playing before, and I'm trying to get the people around me to like participate in like cheering him on too, but that doesn't really work out. And anyways, Lord Huron comes out, and I'm the only one chanting. It's just like I'm just being probably a jackass, honestly. And the thing is, no one was standing up and dancing along, and I was dancing, and I was doing, I was like doing a show with my flashlight, where I would like, I would like make it. I would dance with I would do stuff with to the music, and I'd like do 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 do, but I would and block it, and I was just like, I don't know, probably being a distraction, but I was like trying to make it. I was trying to interact with the songs and just be a part of it in my own way, which was probably just annoying to people. I was dancing up at times, but then I sit back down because I knew I was like in front of people, like I knew I was like standing and blocking people, right? And security came, and they're like, they pointed a flashlight at me, and I got up and I got to them, and they're like, hey, you can't stand up. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? We're at a concert. Why can't we stand up and dance at a concert? These fans are so lame. And they're like, well, it's either you sit down or you leave. And I'm like, well, is there another place I can go to where I can stand up? And they checked, and that wasn't the case. So I'm like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna leave then, because like if I can't stand up and dance to my Lord Huron, then I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna do my own concert in the parking lot, which is what I did. And this is where I wish I had video of it, but I went on TikTok Live. Well, before this, I explained my situation to a nice lady that was working there, and obviously, like, people knew that like I was going through something, but she was really nice, and yeah, I got video of myself walking outside of the interior like stadium, and then being on the exterior of it, and being like, I got kicked out of Lord Huron, just being a fucking idiot. And I get to the parking lot, and I put my car horn on, and I use it as a metronome, and I start doing that, and I start making up lyrics to a fucking song, and say, hey, why don't you sing along? I don't know, something like that. But it was just improv, and I was just dancing around like a fucking idiot with my car horn playing, with me singing to whatever, and just like with all these ideas in my mind about problems with the world. And at the time, I was like, you know, uh, the ladies bring their men to Lord Huron because like Lord Huron speaks their language, right? And they just want their man to understand their ladies more. And this was like an idea in my mind, and I was just like men, like I was like telling men to be better, right? Like just dance with your Lord Huron, and like dance and like sing to his songs. I don't know, it was just really stupid. Um, but anyways, I end up on top of my car somehow, and I was literally on top of my car, standing on top of my car, guys. And this is where the crazy part, like I'm just crazy. But this happened like after the show was over. Like people, once people started walking towards me in the parking lot, I started to ask them questions. Like this is where like it was like, Brady, what are you doing? And I remember there was one girl that was like, fuck yeah, man, like you're doing, I don't know, she was like, I don't know. Where am I even going with this? Like, this story is just fucking ridiculous. Like, I end up on top of my car, and it's cold outside, and snot falls out of my nose onto my phone, and I get banned on TikTok. That's the story, guys. It gets fucking crazy. But before I get banned, I was on top of, okay. So before I was on top of my car, I was inside of my car listening to Bill Burr cranked up to 30 on my knob. Like that's the loudest it gets. Well, I don't know if it was cranked up that loud, but I was still on TikTok live, but I was talking to Bill Burr as if he was talking to me, and I still do this. This is fun to do with Bill Burr, his Monday morning podcast, and I was talking to him, and people on TikTok were like, "We can't hear who you're talking to," which people sound like making me think I'm a fucking like crazy person, of course, talking to myself, which I'm doing right now, and and then I crawl out of my car and stand up on top of my vehicle, and I'm like, I'm gonna be the last one to go. I'm gonna be the last one to go, and that didn't happen because I was getting cold, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm leaving. And I ended up going to a gas station, a Quick Trip, and hung out there for quite a bit because it said a safe place to be. And I'm like, I need a safe place to be. And I heard there's a cop outside, so I think cops were following me. Like it was one of those things. So crazy story, Brady. Why do you tell this crazy story? Well, because I'm crazy, and I can admit that I'm a lot of things, right? Being stable, I obviously wouldn't be doing that. But I just felt a certain way about being kicked out, even though I had the choice to sit down and just not be a fucking nuisance. I understand why. Like, look, I'm not trying to defend myself. I definitely was a jackass and dancing around in front of people and using my flashlight to just dance around too. Like I was just being like one of those guys you don't want to be around on at a fucking concert, and me chanting Lord Huron and no one chanting back was just awkward probably, and they're like, this is weird. But anyways, I'm crazy. I can admit it. And being in Mania, I think it's one of those things too where like before Mania, like I was such a perfectionist. I was so in my own way of being who I was, right? My hair. And it was one of those things too, like with my hair, for instance. It's not perfect, but I'm growing it out in such a way so I can know that like part of me isn't perfect, and if it's messy, it's messy, right? If people don't like it, they don't like it. But that gives me like lets me be more loose and free with who I am, right? And I learned this from Miss King, the director of that scholarship program. She literally was telling this to me, and I didn't understand it at the time. But she was like, just make one thing about yourself just not like perfect or like good. And I'm like, interesting. And I didn't think about it much because like back then I just didn't think too much like I do today and reflect on life. And so yeah, I like being crazy in Mania, like I know I'm capable of doing that, but I know what not to do. Of course, being stable. And part of me is like, well, I've done this in the past, and it's kind of a joke at this point. Like Mania, like I know I've hurt people in Mania, and I don't like that, of course, but I have to laugh about it. I have to be. It's just I was so absurd. Like I can read you some Facebook post that I put. Is this even a good idea? Probably not. But I made my Facebook posts private. Oh, excuse me. Man, let's see here. What's a good one? What's a good one to do? I don't know if it's even a good idea because it's so fucking stupid. Like a lot of the things I said, people won't understand. I can interpret. Okay, Brady, let's just try this. Let's just try this one. Joke incoming P. I don't know what I'm saying there. Okay, imagine if the Earth eyeballs was round, and at night we cannot just shut them because who told us that? And we'd put something over our faces so we go out at night as Dawn dish soap. Because that's fucking stupid. But you're Dawn old dinosaur and get out of here. And guess how many times I heard that in unoriginal ways in both 2 and 3 dimensions. Scrub your timeline 6 days ago. Austrian prince and figure out why the glass broke. Why he said 400 and why he, who, moi, ha ha ha. All of us good agents, State Farm, thank you for taking care of me too. God damn it. This is, I'm packing so many different things into this. Where obviously it sounds like gibberish. It sounds like nonsense. I don't know what I was getting at with the Earth's eyeballs. Imagine the Earth's eyeballs was round and at night we cannot just shut them. Because who told us that? I don't know. Some of this is just nonsense, right? But Dawn dish soap, I literally made a video trying to teach Dawn old Trump to use After Effects, so the visual effects app to create an effect. And since South Park put Donald Trump in bed with Satan, I was thinking it'd be funny to put Dawn old dish soap in my bed. It was so stupid. And so I literally made a video of me tracking my camera to have like the moving, like as my camera moves around, like the dish soap would be just tracked onto the bed, so it's not like sliding around or anything. And I was teaching Donald, and I was being really just like condescending to Mr. Donald Trump and telling him like, hey, the keyboard, we have to use the keyboard. And then there's like literally a piano to my left, and I'm like, no, not that keyboard. So like obviously my words come out in such a way where it doesn't make sense unless, like, scrub your timeline 6 days ago, it was Australian, not Austrian prince, buddy. Come on, Brady. And figure out why the glass broke. Like, I was analyzing this video of Trump meeting with the Australian president or whoever it is, and I was making light or trying to make meaning out of the numbers he used, and as if I implanted them into his brain, and it was just dumb. It's just all of my ideas are trying to, I don't know. And good agents is another thing that just like a bigger overarching. Okay, imagine Trump's micro penis is 1 pixel by 1 pixel on my phone, and each time I hit each one, it buzzes with my shire. Guys, if you can't hear this. So, microphone pointed at my phone and move him around to hear me buzz Lightyear to the rescue. It's so stupid. It's so stupid, but I have to laugh at it. I have to laugh at it. And I just make a fool of myself. And who's reading this in a way that understands me right now? And if anyone is on my Facebook and is watching this video, I hope you're like, yeah, Brady, obviously, like, are you even aware of what you're saying? I'm like, yes, I've read through these in the past. If anyone witnessed Good Trouble live on TikTok, I played my keyboard to 2 men debating over Sam's woman, and and she's my neighbor. Ha ha, funny joke. Okay, this is that story is something, and he thinks he's the only one, and I'm like, no, seamen on a ship of on a sea of ships as righteous brothers, maybe even faith J.2, or belief if in your woman's signs. And I said, listen to her silence, and so I was literally watching Good Trouble on TikTok and talking to him, like, not, he wasn't hearing me, but I was like talking as if he could hear me. And I said, listen to her silence, and and he wasn't. And I said, hear expressions, and he obviously couldn't. This is getting poetic. And I said, I made him feel hate, which I flipped to baited, and his woman laughed. And then I did a bit of Apple language before that. And then, ladies and gents, this coward said I should get out and never see me again. And the lady left, and so did I. Or was this when I was talking to him? Did Good Trouble tell me I should never see him again? I don't remember. I can react to that video. I don't remember. I remember ending it saying, mental health is really misunderstood. And this is in front of 1.3 thousand people, by the way. And if anyone's following along, this is just a video I made on TikTok. I went and found Good Trouble and talked with him live. And I was trying to share. The whole goal was to be like, hey, like how we talk to people is important, even if they are MAGA idiots. and Good Trouble has a good way of talking to people. Like, he's very witty, and he's very much good at calling out bullshit. But I brought up Daryl Davis, which is an African American blues and rock and roll pianist, and he literally convinced Ku Klux Klan members to deconvert, and like they gave him their robes, and I'm like, this guy knew how to talk to people, right? Like, he just treated them like humans, and they were able to see that, people like Daryl Davis are good, and they changed their ways, and this is how we ought to treat people. We ought to treat them like humans and not be hateful. And Good Trouble is hateful. Sorry, buddy, but you are. And you call all the people Nazis. Like, you call all Republicans Nazis, which might be accurate, and it's understanding why you say that, but we ought to be careful how we talk to them, because they don't see themselves as Nazis, because they're too dim-witted to like understand that they're repeating history again, right? And we ought, and then they get defensive, and they're like, Good Trouble, bad, and then there's like reaction, end of the fucking world. So look, we have to be very careful how we talk to people. And I brought Daryl Davis up for a reason. And I said, fear is the root cause of all unnecessary suffering. If the individual can eradicate fear from the mind, they can lead more productive and meaningful lives. And he's like, and before I said this, I'm like, with fear, like, fear is the root cause. So it becomes ignorance, then it becomes hateful, and then it becomes violent. And we ought not to get to any of these. Like, ignorance, we can treat. Hatefulness, it's already tipping on something. But if it gets violent, then it becomes bad. And how do we get back to hateful, and how do we get back to ignorant? And it's to understand we should be without fear. And he was like, I think you're getting them mixed up. It's ignorance then fear. I'm like, no, fear is not even in Daryl Davis's quote because Daryl Davis says ignorance breeds ignorance breeds hatred, which breeds violence. And I was bringing up that quote, and he's like, you're getting mixed up. It's ignorance first. I'm like, dude, no, and he just wants to be right, and I understand that. And this is like the same thing that happened with the guy I talked with yesterday, the debate I had. He just wants to be right. It's like, we ought to just listen to people. Like, I'm not trying to debate Good Trouble. I wasn't trying to really debate this other guy. I'm just sharing information. And anyways, and the lady left, and so did I. What a know-it-all, right? Left, right, left, Lesson, my close ones, we are not in a duel. We are in a wholeality, equality, chord, harmony. Together we stand, united we believe. Tonight we pray for Adam and his Eve to move their zeros in harmony. And this is where I'm just like, it becomes funny because it's so, I can say this, and that this last part rings true. It's like I was implanted numbers by my uncle, being a mania my first time, where he's like, we're all zeros and ones, right? And I'm like, oh. So now when I talked with him on the phone, I started to make that up. I just started saying all these numbers are meaningful to some degree. And like how many words we say out of our mouths subconsciously like indicates bad or good or whatever it might be. Like if I say one word, that's good. If I say two words, it's bad. If I say three words, it's good. If I say four words, it's questioning. If it's five, it's human. If it's six, it's the devil. If it's seven, it's human. If it's eight, that's infinity. It's or future. If it's nine, it's belief. If it's 10, I don't know what that means. But we come up with meaning to apply to numbers, and I instantly just like started going off about like people being activated or ones, and people who are not activated or zeros. So when I say tonight we pray for Adam and his Eve to move their zeros in harmony, what's that mean? I don't know. Anyways, so I think I've been rambling forever. I've been, since I looked at 30 minutes, it's now been about 45 minutes of me just talking. Look at this. Isn't it amazing? I can just have my own podcast at this point, just ramble on my butthole. But it's my kisshole. I call it my kisshole because I'm not Donald Trump and he spits out of his butthole. And then someone changes his diaper, and who has that stupid job? It's not a stupid job because I know people, when they get older, this is where Brady has to be nicer, is people have a hard time doing things they used to do. And I can see it becoming like embarrassing, having to like change, like being helpful, needing help to change, just in general. Like I think becoming old is hard. I was just talking with my mom about this because she works at a retirement home for older people, of course, and how she shares that a lot of them don't have the spirits and like they're not fun, and you know they get in their own way, and I'm like, well, isn't it kind of understandable? Like if you lose like your wife or your husband and you're just sitting in this room, like I don't know, your family maybe comes to visit you once a week maybe, and that's what you look forward to, and then after that you're just in your room and with other people that you live with, and I can see how it can get depressing. Like I don't know if I'd really want to be like, sounds bad, but like why not just put me on my misery if I can't like take care of myself anymore. I know that's probably a bad thing to think about, but just like I don't know, it's just it's sad, and I can understand how people can feel that way. But she's like, well, they should be like, there's like people down the hall they can talk with. I'm like, well, perhaps, but perhaps they just don't want to, and I can understand. Brady, what are we doing? What are we talking about right now? We're talking about retirement homes and becoming old. Oh yeah, and not being able to change diapers. Yeah. We shouldn't have old people become president. If they can't change their diaper, then they shouldn't be president. We should make that like an amendment. If they can't change their diaper, they shouldn't be president. But maybe he does change his diaper. I don't know. I'm just assuming here, but I highly doubt it. I don't know. Does he? I don't know. What do we think? We can talk about it in the comments, and like and subscribe, and yeah. Should I end it here? I've been talking for too long. I'm gonna end it here, and I'm gonna try to go on TikTok after this and try to find a conversation we can talk about. And yay! All right, thanks for watching. If you're still watching, and I'm gonna stop rambling sometime, and we're gonna